All right, we're back for Graphing Inequalities Day 2. This is the second thing that is on your to-do list for today's lesson. I'm hoping that you watched the review video so that you could see if you were on the right track with solving these problems and graphing the results. Today we're going to be adding a little bit of a challenge because we have another sign, if you notice right here. This is the less than or equal to sign. So moving into what we're going to be talking about together, just like we did yesterday, we are going to be trying to balance the equation. So what we do to one side of the equal sign, we're going to do to the other side in an effort to get the variable by itself. Our variable in our first equation is the letter A. We have A subtract 6 equals to 14. I'm going to be adding 6 to both sides of this equation, balancing what I'm doing so that I can get the variable by itself. The reason that I add 6 is because it is A subtract 6 up here. Negative 6 plus 6 gives me 0. And on the other side, 14 plus 6 gives me 20. I'm going to bring the variable down here, put the equal sign in there, and bring the 20 down. That is what our variable equals. On my number line, which has nothing on it, I'm going to just pick a place. I'm going to write the number 20, and because A equals 20, I'm going to fill in my circle when I make it above the 20. And just like I did yesterday, I'm going to put a couple of numbers on either side of the 20 so that I am demonstrating that I understand the location and the place that 20 holds in the number system. This next problem, we have 8 subtract h is greater than 10. And what we're going to do to this one is I'm going to subtract the 8 from both sides. That gives me a negative h. And over here, if I do 10 subtract 8, I end up with 2. And just like I did yesterday, I can multiply this by negative 1. So we're going to do negative 1 times h, and if I have a negative times a negative, that makes a positive. And I am going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to multiply 2 times negative 1, and that ends up giving me a negative 2. How do I take that up and graph it? I'm going to put this on the number line. And it says h is greater than negative 2. So I'm going to write my negative 2 here. And if h is greater than negative 2, I'm going to put some numbers here to show that I am aware of, again, the place that negative 2 holds in the number system. H is greater than negative 2. That's going to lead me to go this way. And we can ziggy-zaggy the line. And I don't have this circle enclosed or darkened in because I don't include the negative 2. This is bigger than negative 2, so this just tells me where I start. Anything that is bigger than negative 2 could be substituted in for the letter H in this problem. All right, let's move on to another problem. And here we have that new symbol, less than or greater than. All that means is I'm going to be thinking about how I graph that when I put it on the number line. And we'll talk a little bit more about that once I have it solved. This is 15. So again, I start by working through and doing what I'm doing to each side of the symbol. This is taking the place of just a plain old equal sign. 20 subtract 15 gives me 5. 15 subtract 15 gives me 0 plus C. I'm going to bring these down to rewrite my expression or my equation. I've got 5 is less than or equal to C. Now let's think about that. I'm going to go ahead and put my number 5 on the number line and give it some numbers so we can see its location in the number system. And if this is less than or equal to, this is where it gets kind of complicated. But it's going to combine these two things up here. We're going to remember that when I have an equal to, I shade it in, okay? So when I have less than or equal to, I shade it in, but now I have to think about if 5 is less than or equal to C, which way is my arrow going to go for my number line? And that is correct, it's going to go this way because all of the numbers this way are bigger than the number 5. It's kind of mind-boggling. But let's go ahead and see if we can do another one. This next problem has the same symbol in the middle, and I am going to work to get my variable by itself. So I'm trying to get the k by itself. Negative 12 or subtract 12. The opposite of that is add 12. I add 12 to both sides, and I end up with k is less than or equal to 24. All right. So for this problem, I'm going to pick a place to put my 24. And you'll notice that it's very important for me to think about and say these things out loud. It helps my processing. Math, I have to see math and I have to think about it. I have to hear it. And of course, I'm doing math. So I'm going to mark my 24 with a circle. I'm going to look at the symbol again. It's less than or equal to. And because the or equal to is there, I'm going to shade this in. But now I have to decide which way my arrow is going to go. Anything that can make this true is going to be less than or equal to 24. So I'm going to go this way with it. And I put that arrow on the end because it really could go on and on and on through infinity. The next problem, the last one that I'm going to do with you, is v plus 11 is less than 18. This is plus 11, so in order to make it disappear and get the letter V by itself, we're going to take 11 away from both sides because we have to balance the equation. And this ends up being 0, and this ends up being 7. So I have V is less than 7. So I'm going to, again, pick a place. You don't have to pick the same place I do, just pick a place. And we are going to leave it open because there's no equal to part to this symbol. So V is less than 7. So I'm going to go this way. And again, I'm going to put a couple of numbers on here just so that I have a reference for where 7 falls in my number system. Now you've got a few examples here to look at. Please remember that you can replay anything. You can pause your video as you need to. When I take a look at the next page, there is on the top, the next page, there is a table for you to fill out after you watch a YouTube video about inequalities. This is part of your independent work. I've given you the symbols. You're asked to go ahead and look at the video. It will help you. There will be a table that looks just like this that will help you to fill out this, the parts that are missing. Then I want you to go ahead and finish the